Morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Focus Daily Show. In this show, as usual, as we begin every show, by giving all thanksgiving and glory to the Most High, the Creator, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in the name of Jesus Christ. It is through him that I am being sent with this truth as a chance for redemption, salvation, and grace for all. Wells Fargo, stagecoach robbers. They were the actual robbers. In the mid 1850s, 1800s, they formed a group of stagecoach companies which began to export the resources, the deeds, the titles, and gold out of the land of God towards the eastern world, And it is through Wells Fargo that the temple was completely robbed. Today we're going to get into a little history of Wells Fargo, although we spoke about it previously. We're just coming back to touch up on the individual companies and groups that played a part in the disenfranchisement of the children of God. Excuse me while I warm up for this next show. It's been a long weekend. Hopefully everybody else had a great weekend. But let's get to this truth, this history. All right. The history of the unification of Wells Fargo and Company. And on a side note, American Express is also a venture that was created with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo and Company is a diversified financial service company, ranking as the 7th largest bank holding company in the United States as of the year 2000. The company's community banking operation serves nearly 11 million customers through more than 3,000 bank branches, or what the company calls stores, in 23 states. Company stores. We spoke about that earlier. Most of which are in the western United States, Ohio being the easternmost state of operation. See, during what was known as the California Gold Rush, when it was really a California gold robbery, that's when the stagecoach industry took foot, with Wells Fargo being the leader. There were several different entities to this industry, but Henry Wells and William Fargo, along with their third partner, formed American Express, which later became known as Wells Fargo. And their main goal was, once again, robbery. Let's keep going. Wells Fargo is the nation's #1 home mortgage lender. Those deeds and those titles. With more than 1,200 stores serving all 50 states. The company is one of the top cross-sellers of the financial services in the country. Offering credit cards, personal loan, wealth management services, and insurance. The firm is the nation's 2nd largest crop insurer. Okay. Wells Fargo. The Wells Fargo of the 21st century is the product of more than 1,500 mergers over nearly 150-year history. So all the various different stagecoach robbers or companies merged together to form this Securities and Exchange Bank. Right in alignment with the New Deal that was being formed. Right in alignment with the formation of the Social Security Institute, the Department of Public Health Institute, all the things we've been speaking about in recent weeks. The bank has three main predecessors. However, in 1998, Norwest Corporation acquired the original Wells Fargo and Company and adopted the acquiree's name. Norwest history originates in 1929, when several Midwest banks joined forces within a banking cooperative called Northwest Bank Corp. Even as late as 1929, there were still small patches of indigenous communities that were holding out against this foreign invasion. Through the help of Norwest and Wells Fargo, they were completely annihilated. Once again, the main purpose of this era of this show is to speak about the genocide and Holocaust that took place in the early 1900s. The real genocide and Holocaust. The Nazis were formed right here in America. Adolf Hitler himself refers to America as the land and the location where he learned most of his eugenic techniques that he used to form the Third Reich. Okay? Which was known as Banco. During the 1980s, Banco diversified into other areas of financial services its affiliates recognized, and Banco changed its name in 1983 to a Norwest. All right, let's get a little bit more into this. Where we at? Well, traces of its origin to a banking and express business formed in 1852 to exploit the Afro-Americans. But you got to turn your discernment on. The economic opportunities created by the California Gold Rush. The banking operation split off from the express business in 1905. Throughout its colorful history, the company provided innovative services to its customers and demonstrated an ability to weather economic conditions that ruined its competitors. Okay, that's them getting down to the brass tacks of how they formed during the California Gold Rush, which really was the California Gold Robbery, which really was stealing from the Temple of God. American Express and Wells Fargo played a key role in this stealing, in this robbery. Norwest early history. During the generally prosperous 1920s, the nation's agricultural sector did not share in the good times. Many smaller banks that had overextended credit to farmers ran into serious trouble. In the upper Midwest alone, 1,500 banks became insolvent from 1920 to 1929. What we're witnessing is this New Deal that Woodrow Wilson spoke of. It's coming into effect. The New Deal is to eliminate the gold standard. Ironically, Wells Fargo was founded on stealing of gold, deeds, and etc. But with the New Deal, it would soon become illegal to even possess gold. All gold must, at that point, had to be turned over to the federal government. So, yeah. In the upper Midwest alone, 1,500 banks became insolvent from 1920 to 1929. It was with this backdrop that in early 1929, just months before the stock market crash, two bank associates were formed into the Twin Cities of Minnesota, Northwest Bank Corporation and the First Bank Stock, later known as First Bank System and U.S. Bank Corp. All right. Let's look a little bit more into Wells Fargo history. directly from wellsfargo.com. Boom turns bust. In January 1929, Northwestern National Bank, today Wells Fargo, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, issued a statement that new high records are expected to be chalked up by this bank in 1929. It had every reason to be optimistic. With some dips, unemployment had been generally low throughout the 1920s. Electricity, automobiles, and other new inventions drove economic efficiencies and started new industries. Financial institutes grew as more people opened savings accounts and took out loans to buy modern luxury. So once registered through systems like the birth certificate and Department of Health institutes, people begin to immediately place themselves within debt. And this new form of slavery, known as debt slavery, began to take hold. Okay? Well, once again, it's just my job to introduce this information. Hopefully, I'm making it simple for folks to grasp it and get a hold of what I'm trying to present to the people. Ultimately, what I am presenting is the true history of America and the true history of how the Afro-Americans, unfortunately, fell from God's grace. And through this truth, it gives Afro-Americans an opportunity, also others, to come back home, to turn back to the Creator, the Father, especially during these times of destruction. But until next time, Focus Daily, y'all.